Somebody else would have signed it anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. He wouldn't have did it. They would have brought in somebody who did it.
Yeah, but this is.
Well, we could use your efforts.
We light it up like sauce and it's sauce and it's sauce. We light it up like sauce and it's sauce and it's sauce. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like sauce and it's sauce and it's sauce. We light it up like sauce and it's sauce and it's sauce.
My city experiencing a transition from penny pinching, maximizing our dollars, multiply triple digits. I came a long way from baby jars in a project kitchen.
Fli-City Blackout. No, slash, no, FLI slash, the dash, whatever you want to call it. City.
Mm-hmm.
Blackouts. It's on YouTube. You gotta go on YouTube.
Yeah, it can be on either one, YouTube or Facebook.
You ain't on Facebook. You ain't on Facebook no more. Okay. It'll pop up. You see. It's Fli-City Blackout. FLI-City Blackout. Dash, dash. Keep scrolling down. You pull up. Fli-City Blackout. Look for the thing. It should be 12-14 and featuring DeWaun Robinson and Delrico Loyd.
Okay. So we're just tapping in. Appreciate everybody for coming in and tapping in. Do we look good on there? Everything look good on there?
I ain't on yet. Try to get it on. Yeah, on there. Okay, so
we're doing our checks and balances right now.
See. Look for the day.
Did you let your people know you was coming on?
I did, but I'm gonna share it right now.
Okay, good deal.
There may be some folks want to jump into this conversation tonight.
Yes, sir. So we appreciate everybody tapping in. Please share. Definitely, we're excited about the conversation about, just talking about the city of Flint. It's always good. So, make sure you let everybody know.
Mrs. Hall is on there. Renee Lee. We love you back.
What's going on? What's up, Miss Renee?
Phenomenal. One of the best individuals I know.
Yes, she is.
Love you back.
Yeah, she's definitely, man. Shout out to you, Miss Flo, Auntie Flo. 810 Flint, we see you on there.
Pastor Powell.
Pastor Powell on. What's up, Pastor Powell?
Pastor Powell, Pastor Devontae Powell, man, you're doing awesome work on the south end. North end, man, you're all over the place.
Yeah, he is. We got the family in the building. We got Brother Roberts in the house. Big shout out to Brother Rodney. Also, Brother Jaleel in the house too as well. And if you got any questions or anything you would like to share, please put it in the chat. We'll answer the questions. We'll put it up. We'll bring it on the screen. This is a family conversation. Of course, man, we appreciate our brother, man, for coming through, man.
Oh, man, anytime.
Man, no doubt, man. I know the schedule. Man, I'm telling you, the schedules be so much be going on, right? Especially when you got, you're in the city of Flint like this, man. It's very important, man, to be at the table,
Sure.
Be at these meetings, steady pushing the wheel for, the people that you represent, man. So that comes with heavy responsibility. So we appreciate you, man, taking time out,
absolutely.
man.
But equally with doing the work is remember that part of the work is being transparent and communicating with the community as well. Right. We cannot become so busy and so preoccupied that we forget what's most important, and that's make sure that we don't go it alone, but we bring the residents along with us. So I appreciate this opportunity just to share and talk, hang out with the brothers tonight, and answer some questions, some good questions, some tough questions, some need to knows, transparent and an open book. So I love it. I'm looking forward to this dialogue tonight.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. So we can definitely go ahead and dive right into it, man. With that being said, my name is DeWaun Robinson, and you're welcome to the Fli-City Blackout. We were talking about Flint politics. We were talking about the city of Flint, the plight of the people, where we are as it relates to the state of this community. And we have none other than our brother, Mr. Delrico Loyd, who is also the first district Genesee County Commissioner, representing for the city, man. So for those who may not be privy to your work, right? Or, just like some of the young people that be on here trying to get acquainted to everything and acclimated to the people and the folks that's behind the scene getting it done. Won't you give a brief background about yourself, man?
Yeah, well, first of all, good evening, everybody. So glad to be here, have an opportunity to hang out with you all, to discuss, to share, to exchange some perspectives. And I was born just 60 miles north of here, and to a young woman, 14 years old, father, 15 years old, who were both going through some challenges in their lives, immediately put up for adoption, made my way through the foster care system, homes of diverse background all over this state, ended up in Flint with the Loyd family. At 2 years old, they couldn't keep us after a couple years because my foster mother, who was the first woman I called mother, her name was Flora Webb. She married a gentleman that became my father, Charles Webb, and he had some challenges that were on his record. And when the state found out that they got married, picked us up, said she couldn't keep us, so we ended up back up the road in foster care. And by the time we were about 9 years old, the Loyd family stayed in touch. A lot of experiences, abuse, a lot of terrible experiences. Ooh, I wish I had time to go through it all, but we made it through, my twin brother and I. And then we ended up getting adopted ultimately by the Loyd family. And Flora's daughter, who was my adopted sister, her name's Shirley Loyd, she adopted us. So sister became mama, mama became grandmama. And so we've been in the city ever since. A lot of family up the road as well. And so went through Flint Community Schools and Beecher Community School. A lot of challenges growing up as a young man, foster care, oldest of 8 adopted children that my mother adopted. And spent time caring for my siblings, and she worked second and third shift. And mama gave up her job before she adopted us, man. She struggled. She was on a fixed income. The state only gave her a piece of money. I can't even call it money. It was a piece of money. And just barely enough to keep the lights on and keep some cereal in the cabinet and a little meal to whip up a couple meals, a couple times a week. And so a lot of challenges in high school, ultimately graduated, but I had some mentors that really poured into us, that really loved on us, our church family at the time. And ultimately, I made the decision after being a year and a half late graduating, navigating challenges, real challenges. I decided after talking to some mentors that I wanted to be able to give back to the community, do something positive, be an example for other kids, foster care, that kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
And so, man, I said, I'm tired of driving out the beach or Adult at the time. I had a little teal Sunfire with some fat tires on it, with some Dayton's and some spinners on it. And I had one of my buddies tip the windows, and he didn't get that right, so bubbles all in there. You understand? And so eventually got out.
Everybody had a Cavalier Sunfire back in the day.
And I had fat tires and some Dubs on mine. And I think I paid $500 for those Dubs at Nate Tire Shop up on South Saginaw Street. You understand? Yeah, that was before he retired. You know, somebody came up there and needed some tires, and he pulled them off, rust and all, man. I bought them. And, you know, nail in the tire and all.
Come on now. Come on, it got me A to B. A to B.
But ultimately, man, just navigated, just being young. And so by the time I was 22, I'd already made decision through mentors that I wanted to get back to the Flint community, because I felt like after the challenges, you know, my dad was killed at 24. My brother, his son, was killed at 26. My aunt, his sister, was killed at 18. Had another brother that was killed here at 24, and countless cousins. And so having so much happen in life, man, just throughout life, man. Story, I don't even have enough time to tell it. And, but I just always felt like that I could have been living that life, you know, had I not been adopted by the Loyd family in Flint. And so, you know, my love for Flint is not superficial at all. I feel like that I am because people at my church, like Sister Hall, Flo, and the churches I've been in, and those that mentored me, and the Loyd family that took us in, I felt like that they gave my brother and I a chance at a real life, a safe life, a productive life, a life with the good Lord. And ever since a child, man, I've always felt like that it was my calling, it was my duty to do whatever I could to help other youth like me, but to give back to this community, help make this community better. And so that's in short. You know, I don't think the accolades and the positions matter as much. Some are interested in that, and certainly there's so many roles that we served in. But for me, it runs deep, and I'm not going to stop until I feel like I've given this community back what this community's given me.
Yeah, come on, man. Let's get everybody a round of applause, man. Let's definitely give them a round of applause, man, because I think, man, all praise to the Most High. The thing is, though, man, when a lot of people don't know your stories. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times folks don't be knowing what people be going through and how they didn't arrive and how they didn't got here.
Or what they're talking about at all.
You know, right. It'd be like the finished product is what we focus on.
Yeah.
But it's all the preliminary details, man, that lead you to be the man or woman that you are today. Sure. And I, for one, can appreciate those conversations and then also those upbringings, right? Because you have to be tried and tested.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Especially in this life, you want to be prepared so you can be competitive in this world.
Yeah.
And I think even just going through the foster system, you got to be able to come through the ranks when you're in the foster system.
Yeah.
You know
listen.
Anybody who come through the foster system, it's like I equate that to like being in the, gladiator school, right? Pasadena Playhouse. Pasadena Playhouse.
What's the movie where they had the tributes? What's the movie? Hunger Games? Yeah. Coming through the Hunger Games.
It's that type of energy, right? So you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready to be able to prove yourself at every level, right?
Yeah.
You don't never know when you're being tried and tested, right?
Yeah.
And then also, man, when you put pressure on a stone or on coal, right? Yeah. It creates a dime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
man,
and no story is wasted, man. I mean, a lot of times people get consumed in the work or the challenge or the conflict at the time. And I always try to encourage people, man, go back and reconsider your story, because it's those stories, it's those experiences, and we all have had them that help to bring our fight, that help to bring our focus in the proper perspective. You know, why am I here? Why am I what led me to do this in the first place?
Right.
And it's almost getting back to home base. You know what I mean? And it helps you to keep the main thing, and never lose sight of what our purpose is. and our purpose are so connected, man. That's
Yes,
why I'm
sir.
glad to be sitting here
Yes,
with all
sir.
of you brothers today, because
Yes, sir.
it's all connected. It's not about one person,
Right.
but it's
enough.
about how those stories fit together, those experiences, those drives,
Mhm.
those purposes fit together,
Yes.
so that the good Lord, can get all glory and praise. That's what I believe.
Nah, man. I think,
Man.
and I think we reckon with that, man. I think every brother in this room, man, got a surreal story, and coming up from Chicago, coming up from Flint, right, North side, South side, wherever you want to be, playing on the East side, however you want to do it, man. But I think that's what make us Flintstone.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's a certain type of factor.
Yeah.
I think that we carry when we go out. It don't matter where you go in this world, man. When you tell them you from Flint, they automatically look at you as a warrior, right? They like, man, you've been through a lot.
Oh yeah.
You know your story, your
Tried and tested.
right? You know that you put it out there,
Yeah.
and like we appreciate even what y'all represent.
Yeah.
So man, coming through all that, coming through those channels, right?
Yeah.
Led you to the output and the work that you do today, right?
Yeah.
So talk about some of those transitions, because you was a council member at one
I
point.
was, man.
You was
So
like one of the young brothers in the council.
So my mother, she raised us, and she raised us in church along with the Lloyd family, who's the Lloyd family out cold with.
Shout out to the Lloyd family.
Man, appreciate it. Salute.
Yes, right.
And it's not people that you would see in the newspaper on billboards. Is folks that were all about that village perspective, man. All about pouring into folks and making better. But anyway, so I spent my childhood, man, in school, not doing my work, but I was the most respectful kid in school. So much so the teachers would see my mother in the grocery store, and they wouldn't say your son fell in my class. They'd be like, your son, the only one saying yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. Because she beat us if we say yeah. You get what I'm saying?
That's that old school.
Oh man,
so these kids is missing out on that nowadays, man.
Hey, man, it makes a difference, man.
Yeah, it do.
Yeah. Shout out to my 15-year-old. Yes sir, no sir.
Right.
But anyway, we grew up. We were in church. In the choir, serving the pastor, junior usher, all of those kind of things, youth group and all of that. And I played football in Northwestern High School for a season. But man, I stopped playing football because I kept having to miss choir rehearsal. And
choose
so I had to choose. But in my free time, man, I watch city council meetings, C-SPAN, those kinds of things as a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid. So I was always interested in that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and then when I got
C-SPAN at
early age, man.
You remember when we was coming up to school, we had this channel. I think it was like Channel 1. It was a channel where we used to watch it was like civics. So we learned civic engagement.
Oh wow!
And talk about what was going on in the world, and that was like our homeroom.
Yeah,
homeroom. We would be watching that.
Oh yeah. That's that's probably one of the reasons why we in some of the stuff we in now. Interested in it.
But we don't watch that stuff. We don't.
We don't watch it now.
Yeah, we don't watch it now, or they're not even being exposed to it.
Yeah,
we talk about in school. They done took civics out of school.
Oh my God!
So you don't learn about how to write a bills. I think we talked about that other day. The bill cartoon. Right. Yeah, yeah. Wow. What was that? I'm just a bill. Yeah. Yeah. We don't even have those type of shows no more, right?
Man, listen, that's what got us into some of that. And long story short, I watched that stuff. So when I got adopted, this was at 9. This is where it started. Woodrow Stanley, late great Woodrow Stanley, may God rest his soul. Salute to him. Yeah. His office got a hold of my mother and said, "Well, your boys just got adopted. I'm gonna be out of town. I want your boys to read a plaque resolution for adoption month." So ABC 12 came out. We on the news and all that. Never forget the experience. So we came down, read the resolution. He was out of town. So we left there and went to the grocery store up on the north end because we lived on Elm. Yeah. And my mother went in the store, left us in the car. You can't do that now. Okay. Old school. And she rolled up the window, locked the door, and said, "If you open the door, there's going to be some furniture moving." Right. And some older ladies knocked on the window and said, we saw y'all on TV. The ladies had to be in their 70s or 80s, and I never forget that. And so then Omar Sims was a member of our church. Okay. And he was running for city council.
Shout out to Omar.
Like 13, and he would pick us up from school, and we would knock doors, put out yard signs, and he would pay us with 25-cent bags of chips, 25-cent juice, and a couple packs of 9 later.
Come on.
Omar owed me some money.
Omar out. Hey man, I concur with he's saying, man. Them old school brothers, like I was rolling around with Uncle Ed. You know what I'm saying? He was paying the piece afterwards. Like, man, I was probably the only young brother. Like, man, no, man, I think this got to be some monetary payment going on. Right?
Yeah, he owed me and my brother some money, man, because that was a lot of. You could get Hostess cakes for 25 cents.
Oh yeah.
Then so that means he wasn't spending but $1.
Man, they got over it. It looked like so much. Man, like, oh, I got all these.
So anyway, man, knocking doors in the first ward. At that time, I remember knocking the door with him, and he just picked us up, from school and took us. And I remember saying to him, "Hey, man, one day I would love to be the first ward city council person." See, people don't know these stories.
Yeah.
So from that time on, man, I always thought about it. It was always in my mind in high school. And so then I got to schools of choice. Yeah, I went to schools of choice. It was some of the best teachers. I
went to school of choice too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, shout out
some
to
of the best teachers was there. Myra
treated
Davis.
like a prison.
Oh man, listen, some of the best teachers and some of the best students as well.
Yeah.
We had some sense.
Yeah, don't think it's because we attended schools of choice that we were just bad kids.
Man, listen.
No, we just made some decisions, right? As a young person, right? That I think about now.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have made a different choice.
Yeah. And some kids are just there because they talked too much in class at the regular school.
Always.
I mean, it wasn't needed.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now you got to get your credits and all that kind of stuff.
That's all.
So I met Myra Davis in class. Guess who else I met in class?
Who was that?
Teacher, Brenda Clapp.
Oh, you remember Brenda?
Honorable.
Oh, see?
Brenda Clapp.
Oh, yeah, that's
She was one of my teachers. And that's why I met her. And she would tell me, because I was not doing the work in class, but I was respectful, man. I remember this girl stood up in class and tried to cuss Miss Clack out. This was back then.
Come on, man.
And I remember I stood up and I said, "We don't talk to Miss Clack like that. If you see her, she'll tell you, you need to find your seat." And Miss Clack stood up and said, "Delrico, hold on a second." Miss Clack is much shorter. Salute to the Clacks as well, who are my godparents, by the way. I ain't ashamed of it. I'm not in their politics. They not in mine, but that's my family.
Come on,
you know
now.
what I'm saying?
Come on,
so
now.
let me salute to them.
Come on.
And I remember she told the girl, she stood up and she said, "Delrico Loyd, I can handle my own classroom." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And I said, but before I sit down, I said, "Students, we don't talk to Miss Clack like that, do we?" And the class said, "No." And so the girl, she's standing there, she had been mouthing off. The young lady standing in the classroom, and she's, she knows she outnumbered. And so I sat down. Miss Clark said, "Now you either sit in your seat or you get out of my class." And the girl sat down. And after that, we developed a bond.
Yeah.
Miss Clark.
Yeah.
So anyway, she pulled me aside, her and Myra Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the road to get to city council.
Yeah.
And they say, you're a good kid, your head is on straight, so on and so forth, you're respectful, blah, blah. Why you ain't turning in the work? And I just was like, it's not challenging me. Blah, 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 blah. Well, it may not challenge you, but you're going to flunk this class if you don't turn the work in. So anyway, it was those kind of interactions that led me to a place where I'm like, I want to serve the community, because Miss Clack at the time was running for state representative. She was my teacher, but she was on the ballot for state rep. So long story short, fast forward to 22 years old, I've been thinking about this for years. The seat comes open. Daryl Buchanan, who's a former First Ward City Council person, former opponent. He ran against me at one point in time, but I don't have an opponent from any election that I have any beef with. I have great relationships with anybody I've ever been on because I don't believe it has to be nasty and you got to be attacking people. That's not my MO. That's not my style. And so I sought the appointment. And,
I think that's real commendable too.
I appreciate that.
I think a lot of times, man, we get it misconstrued, right? We might not be looking at it or having the same politics. Yeah. Right. But at the end of the day, man, I can respect folks who want to do better for their community. Yeah. Represent in a capacity where they have a voice. Yeah. Right. And then on the road to doing that, man, you ain't got to cuss nobody out. Put no dirty laundry out there. You ain't got to be on no negative run to get to where you need to be. No. I've always was told by a wise man, don't step on folks on your way to the top. Amen. Because you're going to see them on the way coming down.
Amen. And you might come back down.
And you definitely going to come back down. Everybody come back down now.
Also, there's more ways than one to skin a cat.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I just believe that for me, I'll speak for me. For me, it's not productive for me. For me, I've been able to be more productive, build more partnerships, have less toxic relationships by just being civil. I'm just talking about me. And so for me, when I'm keeping the main thing, it doesn't include. Now, if you're hurting people, you know, and you're doing people wrong, there's a way that I'm talking about me, that I can engage with you on that. We can disagree, but I don't have to do something and act in a way that weakens my witness and my voice with people that don't want that, but they want to see people, you know, gelling and kind of working together. So that's not a knock on anybody, but that's me. That's how I choose to interact.
Do you think that played a part in how Flint politics is today?
I think that
all we do is we do a lot of slamming and look at the state of our community.
Yeah.
Think about the relationships.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that played a part in where we are today?
I think that you know, obviously, and I said this a little earlier, you know, there is a hand shortage for the work, but there's not a work shortage. And the hands that we do have that are doing the work, everybody comes from a different perspective and have different thoughts about how we get to where we need to get, and so on and so forth. You know, I'll say you the long litany, right?
Yeah.
But I think that what we see is a bunch of passion and a number of people that, you know, want the community to get better and want to do their part. But what I see is, I believe it's just a disconnect in approaches when we start talking about how we get there. And I think different perspectives is great. I do. I think, you know, tough discussions are important.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
You know, it's my preference to try to live in peace with all of the men that I can live in peace with while doing the work, but at the same time recognizing that all skin folk ain't kin folks. Everybody ain't the same thing. Everybody don't want the same progress and being, you know, everybody don't want the same productivity. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so to answer your question, you know, why do I think things are kind of the way that they are? I just think it's different perspectives and approaches as to how people think is the most productive way to get there. Now, the other thing is, and I've said this to elected officials, I've said this to activists, I've said this to pastors and so on and so forth. Everybody has their role in the process. You understand what I'm saying? I welcome tough questions and challenge from my brothers and sisters that raise the questions and ask the tough questions, because it keeps elected officials on their toes. We don't need a free pass. We need folks looking over our shoulder to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Come on, now.
Accountability.
Everybody can't be at the table sitting directly in the meeting.
That's right.
We need folks that's out there on the field, holding folks accountable, right? And ready to run up in the play. I'm with that.
But everybody can't be fighting everybody.
It's a lot of fighting going on out here right now, bro. I'm telling you.
You know, in the midst of the fight, we got to have a desire to find some level of commonality. I didn't say selling outness. I said commonality.
That's right.
That we can, that we can, you know, in the midst of the fight, where we find a level of commonality that says, okay, I disagree with you, but I don't have to hate you. I don't have to trash you.
Right.
But yet and still, I'm still looking for this right way, you know, productive way to get where we're going. And so I could go on and on about that. Obviously, it's a lot of fighting in the community, but I do believe that, you know, we have a responsibility as individuals to be our most productive selves and bring our most productive and sincere self to every conversation and platform with the main thing in mind only. And that should only be not how much I'm gonna get, not my people getting hooked up, not, you know, my set gonna be on top. It should be how do we make the community better, and how do we all do our part to make the community better. If it's not about that, then we're not just talking about fighting and civility. We're talking about people being selfish. We're talking about sabotage. We're talking about all these other things that ain't productive.
And I see a lot of that, man. And I you know, as coming up as being like, you know, young people in the community, you know, a lot of times you see this fight, this stuff going on, but then, you know, as the young people always feel like we've been left out. Like, and I think that contributes to the fire. That contributes us to attacking. That contributes to us feeling like, you know, they're closing the door. Like when we talking about upbringing and making ways for the next generation, you know, it's a due responsibility for us to watch people get along and be civilized. And like, and a lot of times, you know, that's what we want, right? But when you look at, like, say for instance, city council right now, you see the infighting going on. You
Sure.
see it's not real independent thinking taking place. People are just kind of like siding with this group and going with this group, but nothing is getting done.
That's
right?
why I got on the city council in the first place.
Okay.
And I'll answer your question because I've used a lot of words to get around it. But, but that's why I ended up on the city council, because when I was younger, I would see city council fighting, a lot of cussing and that kind of stuff going on. And it was some of the legends. They were getting stuff done. Don't get me wrong. Salute to the legends that came before, the shoulders we stand on, and all of that good stuff.
Right.
I just want to give my preliminary in there, right? But what I'll say is, I remember sitting at home and saying to myself as a teenager, if they can get the amount done that they're getting done, cussing and fighting, how much the more can I get done going down there, even if I don't have the experience, but the heart and the desire to do what's best for the community. That's how I got there. And I never lost it. And so 22, when the seat came open, I didn't tell nobody the collection was my godparents. I didn't tell nobody I knew Omar. I just went down there and applied, interviewed, and got appointed. But I didn't get appointed because all of the council people thought I was the best person for the job. Let me be clear. I'm going to say I ain't been, and I mean to say it just like that. I ain't never been a dummy, okay?
Come on now.
But it was kind of one of those, Lord, any way you bless me, I'd be satisfied in that. I went down there and just said, hey, I just want to do right by the community. I want to serve the people. And the commissioners, the council, thought that I would be an easy sway. That's how I got the appointment. Because the council was split. The council was split. And there were people on both sides that thought, oh, we appoint this 22-year-old boy, then we can get them on our side, and then we'll have that fifth vote we need.
Was you the swing vote? They looked at you as a swing vote.
So I was a swing vote, and Sheldon Neely was a swing vote for reasons that he was a swing vote. I'd rather not get into that right now. I mean, we can, but he was a swing vote for the reasons that he was a swing vote.
Self-interest.
I can't speak to his motives, but what I will say is, because anybody,
come on now,
we're talking
like this too, though, man.
Yeah.
A lot of times people get in position, man, because hey, listen, they have self-interest, right? And it's a part of that. Sometimes that's the piece.
Yeah,
right? We gotta be honest.
Yes,
right?
sir.
When we get in a position, hey, I may have some self-serving ideas that I love to do or commit while I'm here. Yeah, that's just any politician.
It's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with
Those
that.
are your goals,
right?
It's only a problem
if you
when your goals is to enrich you
and hurt the people
and to get something for you.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys try to get stuff for them.
I know.
And they don't have it in their mind to hurt people, but they hurt people by only focusing on trying to get something for them. That's the problem. Every politician ought to have an agenda.
And you gotta have an agenda. But you don't have to, like you said, like we're talking about stepping on folks, you don't have to enrich yourself hurting others in a public role.
Listen, if you
want to do that, you get in business.
Listen, man, if you in politics to enrich yourself, you in the wrong business anyway, because ain't no money in it.
Right.
People, I mean, let's just be frank.
Right.
People talk about, like county commissioner. We receive like $35,000, $32,000, somewhere in the $30,000 neighborhood. And there's people that's making it happen off that, and that's all they make. So it's no pun intended. What I'm saying is the kind of money, and this is a general statement, across the political spectrum, across this country, where you find people, man, that's done stuff to enrich themselves, and a lot of times illegally. It's like, man, you gonna do that for 30 grand? You gonna do that for 100 grand?
Man, folks is selling out for that.
Be like my man's in the movie. My man's in the movies, man, that do the heist, man. You don't took the $20 million dime,
man. Come on, if you don't hit a lick, man.
For 10 grand, for 100 grand.
Listen, hey, there you go. People selling out for lawnmowers and all these other stuff, man. Listen, it ain't no value no more, man. Folks is doing some stuff. It's terrible, bro.
So it's you. What you say? G? Hey man, he slid it in, right?
Man, get a lawnmower, baby. Come on, baby. Take care of them folks in the third, man. I'm just telling you.
But you can have an agenda.
Yeah.
But if the agenda is enriching yourself and making sure you're good, you're in the wrong business.
That's real talk.
Because you know, and I just leave it there. That speaks for itself. You in the wrong business. This is a business. You do this because it's hard work.
That's
you
right.
look at the community. You say, I think I can make it better.
Or
you see somebody in the row, and without trashing them, you say, I think I can do the job better. You understand what I'm saying? You know, there's things that used to be, and you saying, hey, that's something we can bring back. Or you see people in this community, man, that's hurting, marginalized, economically deprived, socially deprived. You know, blue tarps on the roofs. I mean, you go down the whole list. You know, car falling apart, can't buy groceries, don't have access to mental issue. And
that's
you look,
a big one.
come on, man. And you look at that and you say, man, I want to do something about that. I think I can do something about it. Well, how you gonna do it? I think I can do it this way, this way, this way. And you do that without burning the whole city down.
Come on now.
I'm just talking, man.
Sometimes you might have to burn. Hey, I'm a abolish, right?
Yeah,
I'm a abolish.
Sometimes,
you know I'm abolish.
Sometimes you gotta burn the system down.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you because it was never built for you.
Yeah.
This whole setup. That's like when we talk about.
But you setting Big Mama them house on fire doing it.
Yeah, listen, Big Mama, get up out of there. I'm about to burn this thing down. You know what I'm saying? And but the thing is, though, man, when you got these systems, man, that keep us in the crutch, right? That was never built for us.
Sure.
It's like sometimes you do have to axe all that down. And I myself don't mind doing that because you know it's never worked for us. Just like when we talk about policing. We wonder why we have a problem with policing because it established itself as slave patrol. Back in the ancient times. So now it's the same mindset, how they look at Black and brown people versus Asian and white folks. It's soft contact, then it's hard contact, right? So why they never attempt to attack soft contact, they really engage in a very vicious way to the hard contact, right? And it's just the ideology and how they being trained. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to break that stuff down. You can give folks reform. You can reform a system all day long, but if this is how we come up, this is how we brought up, it's always still, this is the trend we fall back on.
No, I hear you. You know, I think that whatever we do, and this isn't a talking point. You come to my church, you come to see my community, you come to my job, and what you hear out of my mouth is going to be consistent because it's not what I thought up or what I think is going to be,
what sound good.
What sound good or ear candy, that kind of thing. But it's what I really believe. You know, for me, like when I got on city council, 22 years old, I was the youngest city council person in history of the city, and then Santino came, and then he was the youngest. So sometimes I still. I thought Omar. No,
not Omar.
Yeah, Omar was young, but no, man.
We still herald you as the youngest city council.
Man, hey, look. Listen, I'm gonna hold on to that. Now you let me hang twice. I'm just going in right now. My bad. I wasn't looking. You know it's all love, man. I've been tickled myself. But man, youngest at 22.
That's right.
Youngest vice president at 23.
Come on,
youngest city council president at 24. Because by that point, my colleagues suggested that I gain, their respect. I was one of the only ones on the council that was willing to work with everybody. And when I was council president, go back and roll the tapes. One of the things that I said in my very first council meeting as president, I said, hey, listen, colleagues, we're going to respect each other. That's my ask. I'm going to enforce that. Public, we're going to respect you, but public, we're asking for your respect and your patience as well. And the first couple of meetings, there are a couple people, that we had to have sit down and have somebody escorted out. I won't say no names, but what I will say is
who was doing that council during that time?
On the council? Oh my God, man, we had a dream team. It was myself. And again, I know people watch every word, and you say a name, and then people,
oh man,
listen, yeah, I know how our community is, man. You say a name, and the next thing you know, man, ain't tied up. Listen, I deal with everybody with a spoon. How you interact with me determine how long the handle is. I'll either feed you out my hand, or we gonna have some distance and some apprehension.
That's right.
You understand?
Right.
But I deal with people based on how they deal with me, and what I believe their heart is, not what beef they have with somebody.
Come on,
that's why I can come sit and talk to you, and I can
respect that.
talk to them or whatever, because I don't take on the fight is, man, making the people whole and clean up the community. The fight is not against flesh and blood, you know, and that's what my Bible teaches me. But anyway, we had myself, we had Jackie Poplar, we had when I got there, it was Sandy Hill, but at one point it was Josh Freeman. We had BB Nolan, late great BB Nolan. I want to salute, shout out
to BB.
I'm serving on his behalf, and in his honor on the county commission. I'll never forget that. I'm serving his term. You come in my office, big picture of him on the wall. You come in my loft, big picture of him on my wall. Because every morning I get up, every day I go in the office, I'm reminded of whose term I'm serving. I ain't get elected to the seat.
Let's get a shout out to BB.
Shout out to late great Bryant BB. For sure.
Big shout out to Skip. That was a good brother, man. I really appreciate him.
But you had Bernard. Who No, Buchanan. I came after Buchanan.
Oh, okay.
So remember, Buchanan became city administrator under late Don Williamson.
Okay.
And then that vacated the seat. Then I got appointed to the seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have Buchanan. Sheldon Neely was on the city council. Jim Annan was on the city council. Carol and Sam.
Jimbo, yeah.
Carol and Sam.
Yeah.
You know, love Carolyn. Carolyn was on there. Scott Kincaid was on there. I served with Delway Hill. He was on there for a while. Aaron Gonzalez. I see there in the middle, like two councils. And I'm probably missing some other names, man. But we had a squad. And we did the business. We disagreed, but we did it professionally and respectfully. And we tried to keep the main thing. So city council went over to Hurley Medical Center when I left the city council. And end up being the chair of the board of managers at Hurley Medical Center for a number of years. Did a lot of great stuff for Hurley, the employees, the unions, the whole 9 yards. And then I was asked to take a job with the International UAW, and ultimately rose through the ranks, impact, responsibility there. Served in the GM department, crisis department, contracts here in the region. Served in the Secretary Treasurer's office, and then I served the last two presidents of the International UAW, global UAW, and the UAW headquarters as the top assistant to the international president of the UAW. So that's the role I'm in now. And so these contract negotiations, GM Ford and Chrysler was at the table, did some great stuff, really got almost $30 billion from these companies, and those negotiations was at the table when we discussed
just now.
This contract in those negotiations with GM Ford Chrysler, and was able to, when you saw the truck plants getting hit in other communities going out on strike. Ford's truck plants, Chrysler's top truck plant, but you notice that GM's truck plant here in the city of Flint didn't get hit. The engine plants didn't get hit because there was an advocate at the table, things that people don't think about, that was saying you can't really take like that. So we maneuvered as best as we could to ensure that there was not impact there when we had the bigger strategy. Wasn't able to keep the CCA plants out because that was a bigger strategy to take down their parts distributions. But the bigger plants and the engine plants, truck plants, they kept working. And so people ask me, you left the community, you came back, and what you been doing for, I say, listen, I may have, stepped away, taking a job, family, and those kinds of things. But I always been here. You didn't count the economic impact in the past. You showed them counting right now. Over $1,173 million.
Come on now.
$1 billion.
Come on.
$173 million of investment from General Motors in this community. Now people take credit. People take credit, but it's only one person in this community that's at the table.
Let me say this too, man. Because a lot of times people do talk about folks deep in the table. Folks ain't been, right? You talk about, where you been? And all these different things. They don't know what you're doing. They don't know what type of work impact you got going on behind the scenes. They don't know the cars that you have to act on a daily. They don't know the hours that you put in the office or trying to go in and negotiate deals. All y'all folks, listen, that's what's so annoying. That annoys me so bad when people say, like, man, listen, where you been? Like, you been watching me 24/7 in life. You don't know what I got going on. You don't know how I'm playing the role, even if you don't see me visually. Right? So, man, that's another thing that we can stop talking about. Like, if you don't see somebody who's been out here doing the work, right? Who's been engaged since, knee high.
Sometimes
right?
you gotta
respect that folks need to take time out for professional things. They got life,
yeah,
you got family,
yeah.
you know, all these other things you got going on too, man. We all human beings.
Now
right?
here's another thing. I'm gonna
Step in and kick up. Right?
Yes, sir. I'll slide something else in there.
Mhm.
Sometimes you don't even need to ask where they've been, what they've been doing, but sometimes you need to ask the question: are they all right?
Mhm.
Are they all right?
Right.
Because you know, when I got in politics young, 22, and that kind of thing, fresh out of foster care, fresh out of high school, fresh out of challenges, you know, married, you know, divorce, you know, young age, 24, 25 years old, horrible husband, horrible husband, priority, you know, that kind of thing, and horrible being young because I got in politics so early. My focus and priority was not only church ministry, that's my first love, but it was also serving the community.
Yeah.
And you don't take that time to grow up and to mature in the things that's personal that are more important, like your family, you know, those kinds of things. Long story short, and what I'm saying is, I left politics probably about 10 years more. But when I left politics, you remember I resigned from the city council. Wasn't a scandal. Nobody, people said he resigned, so it must be some money or something will happen. You ain't never heard none of that kind of food. But I stepped away because mentally, you know, I needed to regroup and to regather. You know, family getting exterminated in Detroit. You know what I mean? And all these personal failures, those kinds of things, and going through those kind of things so that you can get to a place. And so sometimes you got to ask yourself the question: are you mentally and spiritually where you need to be able to serve? Because sometimes you'll be serving and you'll be jacked up, and now you're bleeding on the people you're trying to help.
Yeah,
because you're not where you need to be.
Yeah, it do be like that too.
You know? And that was a tough, you know what I mean? People felt like my school was right. That was tough to sit back and be like, no, I know I got elected, I got another year left in this term, but it's time to step away. You know, it was hard to hear the Lord's voice say, okay, you had the impact you're going to have on this level. And now it's time for you to step back so you can get strong so that you can be stronger.
Yeah, right.
So I've always thought about when would be the right time. You know, when would that door open for me to be able to come back and serve the community? You know, never thought that BB, our brother, friend. I remember going to his house, getting him out the bed, making him put on some clothes, he can vote for. Yeah. That was my, you know, my brother just as. But I didn't think, well, what an honor it's been to be in a position that people would reach out and say, we want you to serve us wrong. Yeah. And to be able to serve on his behalf. So 45 minutes later, I'm just not answering your first question. We've been talking good.
You walked it down. No, and I think, man, but that was good. Get to the back now. Understand, you know, the whole process.
Yeah.
You always see, like we talk about the end result, but you never see the process to it. So, man, just coming back into this community, man, being an advocate for the people and really having a goal in mind, right?
Yeah.
That you stand in the commissioner role, right?
Yeah.
What are some of those things and those goals and those initiatives that you would like to see, not only in the house, but like working with?
Yeah, so, you know, at the county, man, been really busy, and I'm generally inspirational speech, but I wrote some stuff down. There's some things I just want to capture. Because a lot of people don't know what the county actually does.
So they don't attend those meetings either. Though.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't come to the county meeting.
I encourage residents to come to those. We don't have any additional meetings the remainder of this year. Top of the year, we have committee meetings on Wednesday mornings, every other Wednesday. You had to grab the calendar, you had those dates off the top. Then the days that weeks we don't have a committee on Wednesday morning, we have the full meeting that Wednesday evening. Now, our meetings, I'm just talking about the county. I ain't picking on nobody, but I'm just talking about the county. We get in, we know the business, we get out. We had a discussion, we professionally, we do it respectfully. And if you come to the committee meetings, you'll be able to hear the dialogue about the various issues and that kind of stuff. But when we get to our actual the council meeting, our commission, it's not as much dialogue. It moves. We're generally in and out in an hour and a half. That's what public speaking. The whole meeting.
That's good time.
An hour and a half because we've already had the discussions
in the committee.
Meetings. Right. We've already had the discussions. The department has raised some questions. We try not to delay stuff to the following meetings and that kind of thing. We had people in the meetings to answer the questions and that kind of thing. And on Wednesday nights, we just go ahead and we approve our agenda. The chair, I asked them to start doing this recently.
Is it Wednesday mornings or night?
Wednesday mornings for committees.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's every other week. So first and third, per se, will be committee in the morning. Begin at about 8:39, and then second and fourth will be committee. Full meeting at 6:30. Gotta check the calendar so you get but you understand the cadence. It's every other. Yes.
Gotcha.
And so they're pretty productive. But I asked our chair to start saying something on the Wednesday nights meeting and the full meeting. So people just feel like we just rubber stamp stuff because we don't have much discussion. It's not much talking from commissioners in the meeting because we've already done it. And I told her, I said, well, residents want to know why we just approve stuff, no discussion. They think we getting over.
Yeah, right.
And so I asked her, I said, if you would, before we vote on resolution, let the public know that if they want to catch the discussion, it was in the committee meeting on the previous Wednesday, and they can get all of the back and forth and the hard questions and who, the what, and whys, and get them in here. All that happened in that.
That's right. No,
and then tonight we're just approving what we've already said that we.
No.
Tell the audience and help explain community an understanding about the state, county, and city as far as resources. Because most often the community and people get emotional. And like you just said, efficient to get it done.
Right.
But when it comes down to the city, it's chaos. Now, what I want you to kind of share and walk it down.
The public can hear him, right? That's a great question.
And then I'll reiterate too.
Okay.
Yeah, walk it down a little bit. Layman's terms.
So I'll do my best in saying this in terms of how finances work. So, the bulk of the tax revenue that comes from the local community, a lot of which goes right to the city. That's where you get your general public services.
Okay.
Your trash pickup, your law enforcement, you get water services, your code enforcement, fire department, police department, all of those kind of basic city services. When you get to the county, we have other departments that serve the county as a whole, but it is not the same services you get from the city. We have various departments. Number one, county commissioners, we fund the county services. So a part of that is, we fund the court, circuit courts, the district courts, probate courts. That's in our wheelhouse. We don't rule and run the judges, but we fund those courts. We make sure that they're funded at the proper level. And then we also fund other county offices at the county. So when we do our budget, it isn't, hey, how much we're going to give to the water department, the fire department. It's okay, how much we're going to give to the county treasurer's office that has the land bank, that's a county elected position. How much money are we going to give to the prosecutor's office, David Lincoln, that's a county elected. Same thing with the drain commission, Jeff Wright, or the clerk register, Dominique Clemens, the sheriff's office, the county jail. We fund those. We don't run it. The sheriff, who's co-elected, he's elected to run the jail. He runs the jail. Same thing with the surveyor. I already talked about the treasurer's office. And then we have various departments in the county that serve the county. So you have animal control. You have our human resource department, information technology, the county controller, community corrections. You have the youth juvenile center, Parks and Rec, who also is responsible for maintaining some of the city parks as well through a contract.
Real quick, is that juvenile center that $30 million that y'all just did over?
So yes. So, and that was funded in strong part before came in, but the building is almost ready. But I will say that we just approved a substantial amount of money to help make sure we're also partnering with the schools and more to help provide better education opportunities for our youth that are in those centers and those programs. We can't just lock them up and throw away the key. The kids, teenagers, they made a mistake. Some of us made mistakes, but we just didn't get caught. Can I just say amen? So we got to make sure that we don't give them away, but we're literally preparing them to come back.
Did you know in the community we had a problem with that 30 million? I know it's before you.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
But that was 30 million that went to our attention. You got these children in our community. So it's like priorities is what we were looking at.
So I think I wasn't there when they originally did that. But what I will say is I'm in support of the new facility for this reason, because you can't, regardless of mistake that our kids make, you can't just lock them up and throw them anywhere. The building that they have, although it meets certain codes, the facility could be a whole lot better. I remember before I even got in politics, going up and doing what we call jail ministry through our church and going in that building. And I was looking around saying, man, I wouldn't want my son or daughter in here. I wouldn't want to be in here if I made a mistake ended up here. So that facility will give them, I don't want to say will give them dignity, but it will be more in line with, if they're going to be somewhere, it need to be somewhere better.
Right.
And so, so finances, city versus county. What a lot of people don't understand is that Genesee County does not get as money from the federal government or the state government or the city of Flint as people think. Why? Because the city of Flint, who's its own municipality, they get most of their money direct. So when you start right to the city of Flint. So versus sending money to the county and then saying, okay, this is for the city, a lot of those big chunks of change right to the city of Flint. Thus, one of the challenges advice that I have in the county to make sure that Flint is forgotten, because that's been brought up before, saying, hey, you know, like trying to get $1 million, we're going to working on $1 million burst. You know, that was BB's project. I'm serving in the Fed. I want to make sure the project get done. Let's set some money to get more of this money from House Foundation back. But here's the deal. But I've gotten from people, colleagues, hey, you know, we got our data money, whatever. There's all of these other communities in the county. What about them? I'm saying, yeah, you can get a piece too. But I want this $1 million for burst, you know, or I want this money for demolition, you know, or whatever the case may be. So I think that's the main point in terms of the difference in funds. At the county, when our money come in, we try to get a process. I think in terms of ARPA in totality, we've gone back and looked at money that may not have been spent that was allocated. And I think we're going to have like $4 million that we're actually taking back from here and there where money wasn't spent to reallocate. So the money that Burston will ultimately get is money that we are pulling back from someone else because they can spend it. But for the most part, they allocated that money. That money's, you know, most of the money we go.
On that note, also, as far as tax revenue comes in from the county,
Sure.
opposed to the city, it's all tax based, and we got tax abatement. When different corporations, as you just said, talk about the businesses or the company down in Hampton Street getting tax abatement.
Sure. Sure.
What does that really do to a community as far as resources?
So I think I'll start off by answering that by saying, you know, there are certain tools that municipalities have to help encourage or to entice businesses, investors, such to invest in the community. You got to remember that although the city and county, our responsibility is to provide services and to be stewards of those resources as entities, and I'm talking very layman's terms, the entities are not created to create jobs, to be in business, to own factories and restaurants and that kind of stuff, but to help facilitate the business we build in the community, to help support, put those frameworks in place while we do all of that. Now, I said that very delicately because I don't want somebody online to take it and say, he said the city and county don't create business. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we have a very specific role by charters and ordinances, and it has primarily to do with services. But one of those kind of enticements, drawing one of those tools to get, you know, so one of you could be 100 millionaire, have 20 million, you're looking for somewhere to spend your dollar, and we want you to spend your dollars invest. This is a tool we can use to say, okay, if you invest your money here, what we'll do is we'll give you an abatement for so many years, so you save on liability, and you save on this, and you save on that. So people did. We did it when I was on city council with Diplomat Pharmacy. You remember Diplomat, which is one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the nation, was considering moving to Texas. They were considering moving somewhere on the East Coast. They were based out in Flint Township, maybe in Flushing. And when we sat down with them under the cloak of confidence, that's one of the tools we use, because every community was putting their packages together to entice to say, if you come here, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. The city wanted out because we put together some abatements and stuff, but we had a hometown advantage. They wanted to stay in. So I see people doing it. This is the key.
Sometimes I'm going to point in. Sometimes when we're giving out those tax abatements, like when we give tax abatements to attract a company here, what type of investment do we look as far as the municipality? How are we looking at that from a business decision if we give them 50?
No, you just turned the corner. I just put my finger up. You were turning the corner where I was going.
Okay.
The balance of that is General Motors, so on and so forth. Most of the time, when General Motors come and say, we want an abatement, most of the time the city gives it to them because you don't want to lose another 8,000 jobs. You want to
sure.
So there are benefits and advantages to do it. But you gotta make sure in general when you're doing that it's a deal that's not just fair to business, but a deal that's fair to the residents.
That's right.
People. So you gotta do that analysis, that risk, that kind of analysis, and determine at what point does this not make sense anymore. So I think the 50-year abatement was something that the city did. I wasn't a part of those discussions, just to be transparent. I wasn't at the table, so I wasn't privy to the nuances. So yes, I wasn't privy to that, so I prefer not to speak to whether or not I agree they did it or not, because I wasn't there. That's how I operate. What I will say is, if that deal was before me and other deals were in front of me, one of the things I will be thinking about is, okay, how much is enough to incentivize you for coming here? And at what point do you need to start paying some of that money back to us in the form of our taxes, so that we are giving you this ultimately for free over a period of time where all of y'all probably will be deceased.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And then the residents now are really funding you. So that's one of the things you gotta ask. Other questions that I gotta ask. In coming in and partnering with us, how are you going to be a good partner in community? How are you going to invest in community? What does that benefit look like over those many years? So you have that agreement for abatement, but you also have an agreement that talks about how you're going to give back to the community, so our residency can feel like we're getting some out of it too. 50 years is a long time.
Very long time, bro. Very long.
But I wasn't privy to all of the details, so I'd hope that there's something in there that makes sense.
When you say statement, margin, company, a lot of times the services that, let's just take a Flint, really suffered because look at our school system. Look what, even with being poisoned by the water and they're snarly getting off. Even diplomat. Once diplomat did the IPO, once they went, they crashed. You know what I mean? It's probably a lot of business. And you think about what that model looked like and how it affected the mind when you said about bonds and bond rating, and how that revenue really was affecting the day-to-day operation of what's going on in the city council. Because we're not getting anything in our school system. So man, it's just unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. That and so many in nutshell is unacceptable. Go ahead.
I want to say this. Question for you. I wanted to give you the background to the question. The city of Flint is a traumatized city. And most people in social leadership don't know how to deal with the people that's traumatized. So whenever you have somebody in an accident and they go to a trauma hospital, early in one of the hospital that's a trauma hospital, he rolls in from the accident with broken feet. You roll in with the bleed out.
Okay.
Who they help first? You. Because your situation is immediate.
The bleed out is
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the broken femur.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But he ain't finna die right now.
It's real bad though.
But you gonna die right now
Yeah.
if we don't stop this bleeding.
Sure.
Yeah.
My question to you is how do we get the political and social people to put the people first outside of their own needs and wants and views and perspectives to treat the people where they need to be treated first and then argue about the stuff that can survive and last later on.
You know, I think that for one, I think that the people are a big part of it.
Mhm.
And I think that that's why it's important. And this city of Flint is across the nation. Political climates are just toxic. They're incivil. They're unproductive. They downright embarrassing. It's a doggone shame. The way I said I used to watch C-SPAN and all that, man, I don't want my 15-year-old son who's mine or my 3-year-old whose mind is still shaking to watch that movie because if they see them do it, they'll be thinking that it's okay for them to do it. And then I can put something on them. You understand what I'm saying? And discipline them, you know, chastise, talk to them to help them understand that that's not how you do business. I think the residents have more power than I think a lot of residents believe. What I see across the community, I see a lot of residents that are upset about what's happening in the culture. A lot of residents have given up. They're frustrated. A lot of residents that can move have moved. There are other residents that are torn, they want to leave, but have not left because of school. You know, my mama built this house, or I built this house. You know, I raised my children in this house. And so people just feel like they're stuck in the midst of an environment that does not prioritize them.
Yeah.
And then you have another demographic of residents that are frustrated by it, yet they entertain it. They cheer the foolishness. They celebrate the foolishness. And instead of seeing their elected leaders and saying, stop all that. That's foolishness. I didn't see I heard that lady on York Street. When I got on the city council in the first couple of months, I didn't talk at all. I was just mute. I would vote. I wouldn't talk. And I remember the resident called me. She said, young man, I rooted for you. I was glad that you got the appointment to my grandson's age. But we ain't seen you down there. Be quiet. I said, yes,
Come
ma'am.
on now.
I said, yes, ma'am. You're right. Yes, ma'am. And she said, so help me understand. What are you doing? I said, well, if I do all the talking, you'll know how I operate. And I won't know how they operate. And in order for me to be able to get the votes and be impactful, I got to understand. I'm 22, ma'am. I got to know how these people operate.
How they move.
And so I sat there quiet until I said, oh, okay, okay, So when you say that, like what's the game? Like you're playing poker. Okay, so when you win, I know you. Okay. And once I figured that out, I started talking and asking questions that they haven't been able to shut me up and understood. But what I'm saying is, my point is, as an illustration, that later, rest her soul, she's deceased now. She was cheering me on to do right by people. You understand what I'm saying? And I think that for the residents, okay, because the residents elect all of the elected leaders, all of us. I like to see us get back to a point where we put our challenge where our heart is. We put our challenge where our frustrations is instead of celebrating this foolishness.
Come on now.
You understand
Come
what I'm
on now.
saying?
You preaching now.
I think that the residents need to start holding us accountable by having those real conversations, by saying, hey, I saw you down there playing with so-and-so, and I heard you call somebody a name. I ain't seen you down there for that. You know, when they say, but so-and-so councilwoman so-and-so told me I was ugly and I couldn't read good. And she said my mama, and my mama, always got on dirty clothes. Okay, yeah. But how did you encourage that person, that woman, or that man to give you a vote in the future to vote for my interest and to get something passed that's going to help me? Because that is where the challenge goes. If I don't like you and you don't like me, and it's personal, and we can't even talk about any issues and now I hate you so much.
Yeah.
If you for it, I'm against it. And if I'm for it, you against it.
That's right.
Then we got a unhealthy.
You going somewhere? You going somewhere?
We have an unhealthy dynamic that lends itself. So how do we get back to that point? Somebody's got to stand up and be a leader.
Let me say this. Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick, man, because I am super sick of folks entertaining. We ain't got no reason to be entertaining the guy, right? And I definitely got to stand on that, man. There's too much crap going on in the city. Folks celebrate. Folks want to be on reality TV so bad that people are dying. And don't nobody even care because they just in it for the likes, the views, and all this old sucker stuff. And I'm sick of that. I'm sick of folks just thinking like we're laughing stock. When they see the stuff that Eric is doing and they, going off to TikTok and thinking that's what our city is. Man, y'all is crazy. This is real people dealing with real lives that really got to go through this. And we got folks that ain't taking this serious. And I'm talking about these little folks that be online. People don't even be living in here. Feel like they got more stake than the folks that's living and breathing and dying. I think they got more stake. They got more stake. They understand what we're going through. We laugh and joke on all these little podcasts. And I'm sick of that nonsense. But that does not do us any good. So we need to cut that stuff off. So when you say hold folks accountable and going down there for them city representatives to represent you, or is anybody in this community that's a stakeholder in this community, if you don't got nothing good, you don't put no positivity, you don't got no solutions to the problems that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, you need to shut up. Stop sitting up here making this a clown show. Stop trying to go ahead and be about, trying to make yourself famous and all this other stuff. Right? I'm talking about folks that's in these positions. Stop enriching yourself. You gotta start doing work for people who put you in those positions. And then if you're on the outside and you in this community, we got roles and responsibilities too. We just don't elect folks and then don't come to these meetings. We don't challenge you or hold you accountable or give you something to work off of, because ultimately the constituents are in charge. And we ain't got no plan in place, and we can't get mad at these folks if they just see up there being a part of the town. So you ain't got no leg to stand up because you ain't charged no more. And I think that's the thing, that's a misconception when you talk about people in the community. Like, our role gotta be much better. We gotta be much better. Yeah, we elect folks. Yeah, them folks gonna get up there and speak and they're gonna represent. At the end of the day, we gotta give them something to talk about. Don't sit up here and expect them to do the work. And don't sit up here and want for them to come back every 2 to 4 years asking for our vote and asking us to support. And we ain't know nothing that you've done, nor we ain't gave you no homework.
I want to say this. One, we gotta stop letting our women be in the front of all the fights.
Yeah, that's true.
2, we need straight up men to stand up. If you had 10 real men, not the men that they tell you a man is today, but a loyal, upstanding, highly moral, integrity, them type of men. If just 10 went to the council meeting, I guarantee you when real men is on the set, all people, foolish people, foolish men, foolish women, politicians, everybody straighten up. So they sit there, they don't play.
Yeah.
They about this.
Yeah.
They serious people.
Yeah.
So when they get to clowning, the men talk. It's like being around your mama. You look at, she ain't gotta say that. She just give you a look.
Yeah.
You shut up.
Yeah.
That's what it'll do. The problem is there's no presence of men where chaos is at. Because real men make chaos get in order. I'm telling you, I've seen it happen. So we got a lot of brothers doing good work, but they long ranges. They fight the battle by themselves. And some try to collaborate and come with others that have the like mind and doing the same work, but it don't seem to stay meshed and bond like it should. And so you will end up seeing, like I go to these meetings, I know there'll be 1,000 groups for the same thing, to deal with gun violence. I said, you take a violence and it's still violence? Why y'all just can't get together, make one large group, and everybody brings something different to the table. But if you're worried about being in charge, want to have a position, then don't say unite, just say collaborate.
There's a difference.
So Mr. Loyd brings his group and collaborate with my group, and he keeps his identity and his self-worth. I keep mine, and we do the
And
work.
nobody
together.
concerned about who running it.
There you go.
You know, I remember when I was at the region, I used some of the resources put together a group of like pastors and elected leaders. It's called United for Purpose at that time. This was some years back. And we called various meetings at the region. It'd be every other pastor you can think of, every other religious leader you can think of, most elected officials all the way up to Congressman Kildee, Senator David Stabenow come to the meetings. I'm saying in those settings, you would have all these people in the room. And at that time, it was kind of short-lived. The name was asked to come work in some of the offices. And but anyway, we would discuss what folks want to do, bring certain initiatives, and then at that time there were certain things that was coming up on the ballot. Everybody kind of communicated around, everybody was on the same page, vote out. So we put together talking points. We had Sundays where every other church in the city of Flint got up same time every Sunday, said the same thing, so we get mass messages out, provided resources for people, and so on and so forth. Here's the thing. Although I was able to put that group together, there's not a press conference that you saw me on the microphone. There's not a press conference that you saw me on the initiatives that we had out front. Each gathering, Chris Martin was a part of that. We had Pastor Patrick Sanders, late Patrick Sanders, Pastor Fuller. You just go down the list of all these pastors, and each time we had something, I picked different leaders to be out front. You want to know why? Because you can show people better than you can tell them. It's best to set the example and not just verbalize what the example looks like. And the example I was trying to set is, it's not about a person. It's about the work, the message, the collaboration, the relationship. And I think that's what we have to be. There's power. Now, let me tell you what would have been powerful to me if I got out of line, or if I get out of line as a commissioner or city council person, or you know what would have been powerful? My mother, when she used to spank us. My mother was old school, and I told her when she died, we're gonna put her on the casket, spare the rod, spoil the child, because she didn't believe it. And my mother had a heavy head, still got a heavy head, but she walked her hand just be like that. You don't want to pick it up and drop it down. So it ain't got to be daddy, mama. And I remember we had a conversation because she would be a physical abuse we experienced, physical. Sexual abuse, mental abuse, abuse. I've been beat with rose bush limbs with thorns on them. I've been put in the tub with water, and I wet the bed at 3 years old, beaten with a wet towel, and had your private part beaten and that stuff. I never even said that publicly. That's an exclusive, but those kind of experiences. And I remember saying to my mother, we had one of those moments where she said, "Say what you want to say. You ain't gonna get in trouble." And we did that with Africa. I said, "Mama, when I get in trouble with me, it make me feel like rebel because I started the history." And I said, "If you want to get me, take my freedom. Tell me I can't go to choir rehearsal. I can't be with Bishop Akins, late great Bishop MC Akins."
That's a son on the
So again, yeah, Bishop Akins
son on the
Herman. Yeah, he just texted me. Yeah. Man, let me tell you something.
Shout out to you, Herman.
Man, shout out to Herman Akins. His dad was my father. I got a text from Herman right now. Keep going, Pastor. Keep going, his father. Man, I dressed him, put him in my arms, and laid him in the casket, and stood guard at him when he passed. Oh yeah, man, I served Bishop here. Herman is an awesome guy. So, but here's my point. I told my mother, I said, if you want to get to me, take my freedom. Tell me I can't be with Bishop Akins. Tell me I can't be in the choir. I don't know what I'm talking about. His sister and family. My point is, you got to know how to get elected officials' attention. I'm talking about me too. Let me tell you how you can get our attention. If you get a community group of block club leaders and block club members, community group that are constituents, that we represent, folks that's going to vote. There's some groups in this community. I'm telling you what I'm telling you. Okay, I'm giving you this for free. Okay. There's some groups in some of these districts, certainly my district, that vote. We want them on our side. We want them to have our back. We want they vote. Because if they vote, They bring out whole precincts in the whole district.
Yeah.
Get a group like that to come down there. Let me use me. Bring them down there. You ain't gonna see me. You ain't gonna see me acting fool. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's just say I'm down there cussing and clowning and calling names. I'm talking about me because I ain't talking about nobody else. If you want to get my attention, go get Miss Harris now and Mr. Bonnie and all of them from the block club that I know gonna vote. Highlight for them. Call up in one of their meetings and take the footage of me cussing and calling names and acting foolish. Because I don't like that when I go to their meeting. I'm about the business and I'm blaming everybody else for something. I'm giving y'all a free nothing. Go to that meeting and highlight to that group how terrible I'm acting. Have that group come down to that city council meeting. Have them come to that mic and say, Delrico Loyd, we saw you call DeWaun the B word, and we saw you go down there and tell him he stank and whatever be going on. I'm just talking about me, using me for example. And had that group come down there and chastise me. Let me tell you something, because I know they watch it. You want to know why? Because if I lose that block club, I lose that precinct, I lose that community. And they tied to more people than if DeWaun comes or you come or even if I stand up down there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like hitting us in our pocket. It's not hitting us in our pocket. It's hitting us at the ballot. You understand what I'm saying? So people hide behind. I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about me literally because I don't carry myself that way. But I'm saying, and I'm giving this to the public court because it's a concern of mine. You know, if you're in the meetings and the block clubs, those groups, those electors are not in those meetings, then I got cover to do whatever, to say whatever, to act however, because most of my people are watching the meeting anyway. And then I go to my commission meeting and I say, you know, all them brothers stay down there acting fool, we don't get nothing done. But I'm fighting for y'all and I'm standing up. And that's why keep on fighting, baby. Keep on keeping on. That's because you don't know I'm the one down there wreaking the hell havoc and they playing victim at my meeting. Playing victim. You understand what I'm saying?
I can see that.
So that's a long way around, my brother. To, you know, how do you impact that? Number one, somebody's gonna stand up and be somebody's gonna say, I'm not gonna be like everybody else. We'll represent the difference. And I'm gonna do it so consistent that it strengthens my weakness. Because Delrico Loyd, if I go down to a meeting and start cussing and clowning, I won't be able to sit in meetings like this, sessions like this, and say, we need to do that. You wanna know why? Because you know, my brother, you was out there cussing and clowning. That's part of the problem. So you gotta wanna maintain your moral standing more than you want to get somebody told to get even. Cussing you out because you sit next to me on the board, it don't matter as much because for me personally, you don't elect. But number two, even though we disagree on this issue, I don't need to move on the next issue. I said to a colleague years ago that I suggested not run for re-election. I won't say who it was in city, but I told the colleague, I said, man, I don't think you should run for re-election. He said, that ain't your call. I said, well, listen, I'm coming to you straight and telling you. I said, this is why. Because you're so doggone divisive. Nobody will support nothing. Every time you open your mouth, people run away from the issue. And if you're at a place where you can't get the votes you need to move the people, then you've lost the impact and the main reason why you sit in the seat in the first place. And that reason is to be able to get a majority vote. Not only advocate for your people, that's part of it, but to be able to get a majority vote to pass things possibly impact. If you can't get to a majority vote because you into it with everybody like you, and you cut it up, fall back. Now, how much you gonna be able to accomplish with your people? I digress.
I think that's deep right there. Listen, I don't mind cussing. I don't mind cussing nobody else. I'm just saying, sometimes we gotta sit at the table like this, brother.
But you don't have
these type of things that we gotta be clear. And then, you know,
but the difference is
it's all respect though.
No. I love this conversation. You gotta bring me back so we can talk some more.
Oh, for sure.
The difference between you and me, I'm trying to, because there's a time to smack other elected officials who are not doing what's right for the community.
Real talk, bro.
You understand what I'm saying? And I'm being cautious because I serve at the county. I am entrenched that work,
Yeah.
I'm intimately involved with business that we're handling there.
Mhm.
I can't speak to, although I watch from afar, all of the intricacies of what's happening at the city. And so, with respect to the mayor, with respect to the city council, and there's differences, and there's some, agreements and those kinds of things. I'd rather not come on a platform like this and start shooting bullets to the other side.
That's what I'm here for.
But the difference is, to your point, you're not elected. I am elected. And my role as an elected official is not to carry on how you might carry on. I mean that with total respect, because your job, of community activists, and so on and so forth, your role is different. My role is to make the decision, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? Your job is to maintain the pulse of the community. No disrespect, I'm not telling you what your job is. I'm just trying to make a point that in addition to your role, is also to make sure that we don't forget the pulse of the community, that we stay on target and on point, and that you're elevating things that are important to the community. And so your role looks different than mine. Your role does look like, hey, Delrico, what you doing, man? You tripping. Hey, man, if you keep doing that, we're going to put you out. Mobilize. We're going to record you. That's your role. I can't be doing that. Because when we get gathered in, I got a responsibility to build relationships and consistency so that I can get to a majority vote to move the community forward. I can't be down there fighting like you will fight.
Let me take the next 5 minutes to cut some folks.
I've been trying to come up through the whole time. I want that when I was. He just want to fight. I was saying that you want to fight.
I love my people.
He want to guns, he want to fight.
I must cut. Learning in today's time, you got to learn to love our people more than they think themselves, which is a hard work. And number two, we have representative of what etiquette towards one another looks like. So what I mean by that is, I have everybody know I got a pet peeve, brother Wright really know about it. That is, I can dislike you, Mr. Lord.
Yes, sir.
I can disagree with everything about you, what you do, everything.
Yes, sir.
But I refuse to publicize.
Yes, sir.
I get flack for that. I mean, I can't tell you how many people, man, you know, but you won't say that because I don't do that. You know why? Because I see deeper. If I talk about you, and it's just black folks, talk about black folks, the enemy that we really going after, they say, we got to worry about them. Keep them, send somebody in there to keep it going.
That's right. I burned me up, man. I burned me up. Brother Robert burned me up. We got to fight against each other. You want to go on the sideline.
I just said, I tell people, like, hey, there was a pastor that was at city council that was being charged with something that he said was a lie. So I came and sat behind him. I said, hey, pastor, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us, do not give attention to that which does not exist. Amen. I said, a lie doesn't exist. Only the truth. So if somebody lying, let them lie. They'll be revealed. But you don't have to respond, because guess what happens when you respond to a lie? You give it life. You give it life. Now you got two people who don't know you or me from nothing. And everything else going back and forth. And a wise man said, you walk up two people arguing, you don't know which one is the fool.
That's true.
You don't know.
That's true.
You remember the movie, man, where the guy, this is great discussion. I'm just enjoying hanging out with y'all. I don't close my book, man. I ain't get to none of my talking points. But listen, man, it was the movie where the guy was running for president. And it was overseas. People could recall the name of the movie. And the good guy was running for president, and he was losing. And the bad guy was winning. And the good guy's campaign manager said, I know how we can get on top. They said, why? The good guy said, well, why? The presidential candidate said, well, how? They said, let's put something out on him, say that he cheated on his wife. And so this is the good guy's campaign manager saying, put the rumor out on the bad guy. Let's say he cheated on his wife. And the good guy said, but he ain't cheating on his wife. This guy got moral, he like, hey man, no, that ain't true. Even though I'm losing, that ain't true. He don't cheat on his wife. And the campaign manager said, yeah, but we love to hear him defend. So that go to your point. Because what he was saying is, even though it ain't true, it's a lie. If he get out there, I ain't never cheated on my wife. He get to all of that. There's gonna be Miss Annie, them, Miss Jones, them up on Alma and Ruth. They gonna be like, oh, that boy lying. Just want to hear
white guy who was running for the seat with the judge.
Yeah.
And the black chick was calling him out.
Okay.
But he got all on TV. Remember how fake and super that was?
Yeah.
I was running for the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And everybody saw it through it though.
Yeah.
Because he had to defend himself.
Yeah.
I respect that. I think respect that.
For the Supreme
I
Court.
do get that.
Yeah.
I don't even know how he did.
Yeah,
he was tripping.
Today's society,
He
peace is worth more than any material resource you can get. Peace. That's what I see. Peace.
Yeah.
So because of that, I have to intentionally.
Lisa, don't go nowhere. I want to tell you
I
something.
have
Don't
to
click off.
intentionally surround myself with people who bring an atmosphere of positive energy.
Yes, sir.
I have to. If you negative or too negative or always negative, I have to do like you said. I got a spoon for you, but it's about a mile long.
Because everybody get a spoon. How you interact with me determine how long the handle is.
I ain't never ate off the silver spoon, man.
We don't.
I never ate off the silver spoon.
We don't.
I eat cereal.
Reflects your health.
You're talking good.
You got people dying of stress. They have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And you say they must be eating bad, but that's no, they were stressed out. Because they don't have no peace.
Let me flip it for you. But peace also represents your heart. Now, this is a flip on it because the amount of peace in terms of how you interact with your fellow man also speaks to the heart that you have. See, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I've had conversations with most city council people. Mayor and I had our challenge and difference. He and I can talk. Any person that you think about that's online that you may think is bad or good, looking for bad or good or whatever, I can talk to them and have. I can talk to most pastors. Anybody want to know why? Because I'm not going to be conformed to this world, but I'm going to be transformed by the renewing of my mind.
That's right.
No matter what, and no matter what environment I'm interact, I don't go in an environment that's going to change me. I'm going to go in an environment and try to impact the environment with two qualities: love the hell out of my enemy. That's my weapon, and civility. Let me tell you something. I don't have an enemy that I don't love, and I don't have many enemies that I know of. I'm sure I have quite a few of them that are private. You want to know why? Because when I hear that you're attacking Delrico Loyd, I'm going to love the hell out of you. And I'm a pastor saying, I'm going to love the hell literally out of you. I'm going to love you. I'm going to respect you. I'm going to be, and that don't have nothing to do with weakness. It don't have nothing to do with being ran over. It has more to do with I know who I am. I know who I am, and I know what my responsibility is. I know why I'm here. I get more calls from people, mentors, and stuff like that. Especially when I got back in politics, they said, "Why the hell? Why are you back in politics? Why you do that?" I have a good job. I make good money. It's not a boast. It's not a boast at all. I'm making a point. I've been blessed, although I have my own set of challenges, like everybody has to. But being in office is not something that I need to feel like somebody. being in position is not something I need to feel like I'm making a difference.
Right.
I'm in office today just for the same reason I was in at 22, because I believe that God has called me. I'm not saying I'm the most righteous. I don't make mistakes, and I ain't, have my own hang-ups, and that ain't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's a mission, and for me, it's not a career politician mission. I don't see myself being in politics and retiring when I'm 80 years old. You understand what I'm saying?
Please.
I believe it's a specific call for a specific time, and I feel like that. You can call it my niche, you can call it my politics, you can call it whatever you want to. Mine is the spread of Jesus Christ, the love of God, and to operate in civility in such a way that the most contrite person can look and see the way I carry myself as an alternative to some of the stuff that's happening. There's been stuff happening while I've been wanting to get my peace of my mind, especially when I got back in politics. The way people were shooting and stuff people were saying, I'm like, I ain't act like that when I was in. Y'all know me. I was president of city council at 24. Y'all saw me. Y'all saw me grow up. Some of y'all raised me. Y'all know I ain't never been that kind of guy. And then I come back and people got photos and conspiracy theories and hey man, listen, I don't owe nobody but BB because he got elected to the seat, and when he passed, there was a seat to be appointed to. Right? And the county commission, because they appointed me, but I only owe them to be a productive contributor to the board. That's all I owe them. I ain't in nobody's pocket. I ain't go check my campaign records. Ain't no major donor. Ain't nobody ever gave me $10,000, $5,000, $3,000, $2,000. Ain't nobody bought me nothing. Don't nobody pay my rent. And I'm kind of going on a little tangent, and I know we gotta go, but just so the public understand that you check my stuff.
Now, I do want to ask this. I know this is the question I want to ask. Now, when it came to the road commission, because we had a lot of situations on the road commission, what happened with supporting Cloyd? Dickerson. Cloyd is my guy, man. You know what I'm saying? He was fighting on the road commission. He was doing his thing, man.
Yes.
And he felt like he didn't get the support that he push through.
Y'all want the juice? If y'all want the juice,
right?
go in the comment section and say, give us the juice.
Give us the juice, right?
Because I'm going to give you the juice quickly because I know we got to wrap here.
Right. We're going to come back for part 2. We're going to bring it back.
Here it is. Want the fact?
Yeah.
Here it is. Okay. After BB passed away, the first call I got, and he was still on the scene, was from a colleague that said, this is the state that BB's in, just want you to know. After BB passed away, that night, I started getting phone calls from people. I ain't make a call because I wasn't interested, saying, we think you should consider it. I said to people, it's too early, no, it wasn't. People start talking immediately, but that's not a discussion I'm in the mood to have.
This is for the county commissioner seat?
Yeah, this is for, I'm going to tie it all in.
Okay.
And so the next morning, I started receiving text messages. I don't want to break people's confidence, but there's no hiding in here. Elected officials, pastors, residents, hey, we need you, you need to consider this. And what I said was, let's talk after his funeral. After his funeral, folks circle back and I said this, I ain't interested in the fight. If I got to fight and get all tore up, get appointed, I ain't interested. The votes are there. Y'all find the votes. You call me. Let me know they're there. I talked to my wife. I got the call back. Votes are there. If you want it, we believe you can get there. So,
I just want to let y'all know, Mama Noden is on the line too.
Mama Noden, God bless you.
AKA
God
Chick.
bless you.
Yeah, that's all I love, Mama Noden. Representing for you.
Salute to you, and I definitely just BB everywhere I go, every meeting, open it up, saluting him because I'm serving in the seat that he was elected to, and I will never forget that. Didn't I, fellas? I want the world to know that every time I open my mouth.
That's honorable.
It's honorable.
We don't do that enough. We should give people their flowers while they're here,
Yeah.
more so than when they go.
Yeah.
But we should always. So I got, brother Roy that was killed
Okay.
out here in Valley by 2 people racing down the street.
Okay.
I keep him lifted up.
Yes, sir.
Because he was around me. We call him the demon.
Yes, sir.
And I learned so much from him.
Yes, sir.
I gotta always show honor
Yes, sir.
for what I got.
Yes, sir.
And some people they may not understand, but
Yes, sir.
we get beat down,
Yes.
we get beat down, trashed, and beat up.
Yes.
So much in so many different ways.
Yes.
We should be more normalized in doing good and saying good about one another.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So when you was talking about love, I wanted to clarify in the Bible in Corinthians it said love is kind, love is patient.
Yeah.
But look at this. It said love is not self-seeking.
Keeps no record of wrong.
Now that's stop right there. Love keeps no record of wrong.
Yeah.
This is how you know a person don't love you. Man, 10 years, 10 years ago, you was in the joint, you robbed somebody, went to jail, and they do it to hurt you to a public thing.
Yeah.
To make it seem like you ain't no good.
Yes.
That tells you
Yes, sir.
there's no love in them
Yes, sir.
for you.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So guess what we have to do?
Yes, sir.
We love them, but we don't like them.
Yes, sir.
The Bible won't never say that about like.
Yes, sir.
It say love,
Yes.
but you don't have to like. I heard Mother Deloney say it one time. She said if it wasn't for a person being a human being, I wouldn't have respect for most.
Hey, man, you need to come over here in front of this camera.
Yeah.
You can't be talking like that out the camera. That's what I'm saying. Next time, come in the camera.
Hey, be sure to like and subscribe.
You know.
Hey, be sure to like. He on next week. Be sure to like and subscribe to Fli-City Blackout. I do want
2 minutes close. So this is the point. So not only did I start getting calls about the commission, but once folks start getting wind that the support may have been there for me to be appointed, I started getting calls about the road commission. The first call I received about the road commission was from a county commissioner. Doesn't look like you and I.
Okay.
That said, hey, I hear you're interested in commission, and I may support you, but let me ask you a question. I ain't heard nothing about this road commission.
Okay.
And the person, I said, well, what's going on? He says, where are you with stacking the board to get rid of the director, who was a guy named Fred Pravandi, who there's been some lawsuits and stuff that the county lost, the road commission lost, because it was proved that he was discriminating and mistreating women and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. And so I told her, I says, I'm not with stacking the board with people to do anything. If I put people on the board, it's going to be good people that should be here.
That's right.
And so she left it at that. But I knew it was a dead cattle. So then I started calling and asking questions.
Right.
And that's when I found out that there was a move that preceded my time on the commission to get rid of Cloyd Dickerson because he was standing up for black folks.
Shout out to Cloyd
Shout out to
Dickerson,
Cloyd
man.
Dickerson.
That's our number love over here, brother.
And he was highlighting some of the racism and some of that stuff that was going on in the World Commission. So then I started asking questions at the board. You know, what's this I'm hearing about, so on and so forth? And I start hearing all these negative things that people who didn't look like me was saying about Cloyd Dickerson on the board and their desire to see him not be on the board anymore. So now my flags are red. Now I'm also getting calls from people that look like me. That's on the other side of the issue saying, this is what's happening. Here's the information. This is what's happening. So I says, well, here's the thing. I'm not with what I'm hearing on the other side. And clearly there's an issue here. So one of my first meetings, my second meeting, the first meeting we appointed Beverly Brown, African-American woman who I was behind strategy in terms of getting, someone that looked like us appointed to that seat.
Shout out to Ms. Brown.
Yes, shout out to Ms. Brown, who's doing a great job. The second meeting we had, there was an appointment on the agenda for the road commission. Keep this in mind. I just talked to committee meetings one week. So this stuff has already been in the queue with 2 appointments that are going to be up in the near future. Reggie Smith was up for an appointment on the road commission. And there was another guy Caucasian gentleman who was up for the appointment. And Reggie Richie was up for the appointment. And so when the appointment came, knowing that Cloyces was coming down in the other appointment, so total of 3 spots, then I put the strategy to say, wait a minute, they're going to take Reggie because they want this other guy who's going to support this racist guy to run. Then we got 2 more spots that's coming, and there's a number of people on this board that want Cloyce gone. So as of today, Cloyce don't have votes. So these are the things I'm looking at coming in the door, fresh county commission. I'm having a conversation with Cloyce, people connected to Cloyce, other individuals. I'm having some discussions outside, trying to sort all this out. So I say, as a part of the strategy, and I'm not going to say everything on this deal, we can talk some more offline. You understand what I'm saying? But I, wanting to help Cloyce get the appointment, had to think and strategize because nobody else was coming up with a strategy. That's just fact. Okay? There were people that support Cloyce, but nobody was working the vote to make sure he had it. I had to come up with a plan. And the plan was delay appointment on any votes, call for an investigation or an inquiry into what was happening at the road commission, because you had a majority on the board that was saying Cloyce was lying, the black people lying, ain't no racism, right? And then you had people that look like us saying there's a major problem. So go back, roll the tape. You'll see me in the meeting saying, we don't need to appoint nobody. I said, I like Reggie, but we don't need to appoint him yet. It's all a part of, trying to whip these votes. And I'm saying, because we need to highlight and elevate what the problem is. We need to get to the bottom of it. And then we need to determine who's best to be on this board. I just got here. It's been 2 weeks. You guys been kicking the ball down because this thing with Cloyce and the board had been going on back on the previous commission. It's been going on for a long time. It's just at our doorstep now that I'm appointed. So I call an investigation, go back and watch the tapes. And commissioners are saying, Delrico, we've been at this a long time. We don't want to take more time. We need to get on with the program. Call an investigation. I call in every member of the board of the road commission. I call in the director. I had a prosecutor's office involved. They're taking notes, so on and so forth. I asked the tough questions, had them produce a report. Come to find out, you had half of the board that said there's racism and discrimination, and the other half say the people crazy, ain't nothing going on, things couldn't be better. Okay. Then I had a board member that was on the board. I won't say his name on here because you had the legalities and that kind of stuff. But you go back, watch the record, you know who it is. One of the board members that Floyd thought was his buddy, okay, walked in the interview and started trashing Cloyce. So really, Cloyce was on the island by himself, which further highlighted the fact that there was just move to get rid of Cloyce. So let's fast forward. So now we have all 3 appointments before us. All 3 appointments, because I got a better chance of getting Cloyce if I got 3 seats up than if I got 1 or just 2. So I go through my colleagues. Some of them don't drink. Some of them don't drink the Kool-Aid. They don't want Cloyce. That's just. But this is before I got there. But I'm the one. Watch the meeting. I'm the one speaking in the meeting saying this ain't right. I say it's 3 seats. There's only ever been 1 African American on the road commission at any time in the history of the road commission. It's been 4 non-black and 1 black. It's 3 seats. So I go in the meeting saying, y'all giving me 2 seats tonight. We're going to break history. We're going to have 2 blacks and 1 of them going to be Cloyce. Right? So I got 2 in a maybe. Okay? Now I'm hoping that Cloyce is a sure thing for 2, but I can't. I can exemplify, I can talk to people, but I can't make people vote how they don't want to vote.
They might give you, oh, I'm gonna vote for you, but when it's time to vote,
you can't make
they may go the other way.
Vote. And when I walked in that night, there was not a majority, not because I didn't work hard enough, not because Charles Winfrey, Commissioner Winfrey, enjoyed serving with him, not because he didn't commit to vote. When we walked in, Cloyce didn't have the votes because of all of the work that had been done against him before I got there. What I did, and got people to support in terms of delaying and investigations and so on and so forth, was to try to buy time so that the process would be fair. You understand what I'm saying? But I can't squeeze votes where they're not voting. So let's talk some numbers. Cloyce has got to have 5 votes. Gary Hall introduced me to Cloyce. I've always shown him how much respect. He's a legend. Really love him, respect him. So let me be very, very clear. I mean, he's up here in my book. And I worked as hard as I did in part because I didn't like the way he was being done. But for folks to blame me because the votes wasn't there, I voted for him. But what people said was, we didn't like the order you voted for. So let's talk about it. What happened was, let's count the votes. You have Ellen Ellenberg. He needs 5 votes to get a vote. Ellen Ellenberg, no on Cloyce, under no circumstances. Martin Cousineau, no on Cloyce under any circumstance. Shoemaker, no on Cloyce under no circumstance. That's 3. He needs 5, right? Y'all count, right? Then you have me for him. Charles Winfrey for him. That's 2. You have Beverly Brown for him. That's 3. Right? Then you have James Avery, who already had a trip booked with you to take him to college. So he wasn't there then. So you don't get James Avery. So he got 3 blacks that's going to vote for him. You got 3 whites that's absolutely nothing. Right? So that is 6 votes. You have 2 more votes left. You got Dale Wayhill, who agreed to support him for a few rounds, but he's one of those guys. He's a realist in the sense that if the votes are not there, we're not going to just keep voting round and round and round and round. That's part of the difference between culture at the town and culture over at the city right now. It's like, okay, where are the votes? Let's take this action, this movement. He voted for a couple rounds. Cloyce didn't get the votes. Then you had Michelle Davis, who didn't vote for Cloyce. So that's 4 votes, no on Cloyce. 3 for Cloyce. Dale Wayhill, who voted for Cloyce. That's 8 votes. So you had 4 against, 4 for him. That's a stalemate because that's not a favorite. James Avery is not there. He didn't step out on purpose. He already had this schedule with the kids.
We waited for James to come back.
No, because the votes wouldn't have been there to push it back because there was people on this side that wanted it done because they felt like I'd already delayed it long enough with investigations, delays, blah, blah, just to try to get the vote. So now we're at the night of the vote. The first round we vote, and I say, I'm getting 2 seats out of this. I'm getting 2. Because the other thing is, you got to be able to think, you got to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. You can't just chew gum and you ain't walking. You can't just walk or you ain't chewing gum. I'm saying I got 2 missions tonight. We're going to get 2 black seats. One I'm going to be Cloyce, and hopefully one of them is Reggie. Okay? And so when we vote a couple rounds, and then I lose Dale, so now he's got 3 votes. That's it. He done. But the first round, I already knew the votes. You got to know where the votes are. I already knew the votes was going to come down like that because I knew where the support was and where it was. So I said, I had a colleague on the other side, I won't say the name, that says, if you make this a fight tonight with Cloyce, we ain't voting for Rich. People get dirty, you understand? Because they thought I was going to vote for Cloyce in the first round, that was the first vote, instead of taking them in the second round. I didn't do that. So since y'all going to jeopardize Cloyce, you don't want Cloyce, and y'all not going to give me the second black seat, I know how to do this. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, walk in the room, and vote for the other black seat first, because I know all y'all going to vote for him. Now he's done. Let's talk about Cloyce. Now, there are people that disagree because they say, well, you should have voted. You could have brought Cloyce up first. But bringing Cloyce up first wouldn't have changed the math because he already had 4 that said absolutely not. And you had 3 blacks, and you had Dale Wayhill that was only going to vote for him for so many weeks because he knew, too, that the votes wasn't there. So when people say, well, y'all walk in and y'all know where the votes are, I always know where the votes are before I walk in the room because I'm checking where the votes are before I get in. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes you can walk in and put that pressure on people and then people shift. But this thing with people on the board not wanting Cloyce, that went on way before I got there when Dominique Clemens was still. And even before he was on there, Cloyce was on that board for either 11 or 14 years. People that didn't look like us been wanting him off for a long time. So no, I wasn't able to roll back years of opposition of Cloyd Dickerson in 2 or 3 months. I wasn't able to do it. I feel bad about it. I think it's wrong. But to suggest just because we didn't vote for him the first round instead of the second round, somehow that cost them the appointment. That's people that don't know how to count votes and are not being honest about the dynamics we face. Delrico, go watch the meetings, check the records. Delrico fought for Cloyd.
We had a conversation with him.
Yes. So, yes. And his perspective, and because he's a man, you know, I won't go deep into everything that he shared because I still respect him and honor him.
Sure.
What I was clear on is that he was convinced that if he had been voted on in the first round, that he could have got there. I'm telling you, as the guy, go watch the tapes. I invite anybody to go watch the meetings. I was the guy that was speaking up for him. I wasn't saying his name because then it would have biased me with my colleagues when I was trying to not only get more time, but also trying to get the facts of the case in the open, hoping that the facts would be the pressure that we needed to get people who didn't want him to say, okay, now it's proven there's some racism. We can't go against this guy. But it wasn't enough to make folks who the mayors and city councils and stuff in their districts who also didn't want Cloyd, they were on their head saying, not him, we want this other guy that don't look like us. So all in all, I'm saying in a very passionate way, everything, most of the controversial issues like this are not matters that should be considered just based on what people see on the surface. There are often times when there's a fight going on, some stuff that's going on that people don't quite realize, and it's easy to pick what's surface. Delrico should have said his name the first round. Because he ain't say his name, he didn't get appointed. Well, that's easy. That's on the surface.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's easy. That's
I was hurt to see that employees part of that board was only brothers. It's just a lot of things.
But when
That's
people,
a good old boy.
But when people say that, when you say Delrico didn't say his name the first round, well, a couple things you're doing. You're diminishing and disregarding the work that I did do. To highlight, I did investigation that ran 45 days. You're discounting that, and you are disregarding the only thing that really matters in this, and that's where were the votes. If you needed 5 votes, tell me where the 5th vote was. And if you can't find the 5th vote, then it don't matter it doesn't matter what the sequence of the votes are. If the votes are not there, they're not there. And that was a sad reality. I hated that because we spent a lot of time doing that. Yeah. But the most votes he got. So Reggie, we voted the first round. He said, Delrico, who you want? Reggie Smith. Because I already knew this was going to be a 1-round vote. That's what happened. Reggie Smith. Reggie probably got 6 or 7 out of 8 votes. 1 round, done. 1 black seat, 1 seat secured for the African American. Now let's have this fight about Cloyd. That's what happened. Because if I had voted for Cloyd first, the people that committed to vote for Reggie wouldn't have voted for him because they thought I was going to vote for Cloyd first, and then they would have an excuse to fight Reggie because I fought so far for Cloyd. That was wisdom. You see what I'm saying? So now we in the second round. 1 round, and Reggie was done. Okay, let's fight about Cloyd. Charles Winfrey laid out Cloyd Dickerson. We voted for him for 3 rounds. He got 4 votes, including DeWaun. On the 5th round or the 4th round, I can't remember the number. We voted 3, 4 rounds. On the 4th, 3rd, 4th round, 5th round. Then DeWaun, he should have looked across and say, "Hey, I knew that's where the votes were going to be. I'm going to shift to Joe Massey because another black guy." Okay, some people don't like him. Some people think he's great. He's the most outspoken person on the road commission right now. Nobody can deny it. Joe Massey. Joe Massey, man, giving him hell. I've been told. Let me tell you something. The people over there that are in the fight.
Mhm.
I've been told he ain't playing.
Okay.
So the next round, Delway Hill votes for Joe Massey, black. So now Cloyce has 3 votes. Tell me how you gonna get to 5. You just lost the guy that was willing to vote for him, but he didn't get the votes in 2 or 3 or 4 rounds. So now you're down to 3.
Mhm.
How you gonna get back to 4, and how you gonna get back to 5? We're doing these rounds of votes. That's what people gotta ask. And then the other 4 Caucasian board members, they started one by one voting for Joe Massey. Now, let's be clear. They start voting for Joe because they're like, okay, we give you a black person, but it ain't Cloyce. And me and Charles Winfrey and Beverly Brown kept voting for Cloyce.
Mm-hmm.
When I switched and voted for Joe, Joe had 4 votes. Cloyce just had the 3. And the next round, I saw how this movie was playing out. The 5th Caucasian was going to jump and vote for. So you got to watch the board and you got to know how to count. The 5th person was going to then vote for Joe Massey. And guess what would have happened? They would have gave that brother that seat. And knowing Cloyce didn't have the vote, do the numbers. Don't worry about the voting. Count the votes. Then I said, I'm not going to let them get that seat to him. Joe, we going to be his 5th vote. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there are people that felt like, well, you should just kept voting for Cloyce. Yeah, it will be your perspective. You sitting out there. No disrespect. But I'm sitting up here in the midst of the votes taking the votes. I'm not going to keep voting for him. And he don't, not only could he not get 5 because of the history, he had 4 and now he's down to 3. And this other brother got 4 votes. So the issue was, if I had kept voting for Cloyce, like Winfrey did, no shade or nothing like that, then we would have came out and nobody would have said nothing about that. You want to know why? Because they would have said he voted for Cloyce every round. Well, now I'm making it about a person. And that's where conflict comes for me, because it's not about a person. It's about what's the bigger picture here. And we tried to get him. I can't get him. I proved it. I fought an investigation. All the things I just said. He had 4 votes. He got 3. He couldn't get to 5. Now this other brother got 4 votes. So you tell me what I was supposed to do. Keep voting for Cloyce and then let them appoint the other brother?
Yeah,
that's what I was facing.
Like Robert said, it was at the time you should have.
I can't. Hey, y'all, good night. It's been real. It's been real. It's been real. It's been real.
There's some dynamite on the table.
It's great. Listen, man, it's been real. I've enjoyed it. I love it. I love it. Dialogue.
Man, no, I enjoyed the conversation. I hope you shed a light on, county, 8 counties, and then of course, we do got the holiday drive. You want to support the holiday drive, right?
Yeah, give me the detail.
You all these
Give me
toys
the detail.
So we got the toys in. We be doing the holiday drive. BLM is our 4th annual holiday drive here at the building, 2712 North Saginaw. Your children have to be present to receive a gift. We're giving out 1 gift per child. We started off that way. And of course, we have to give out. So just come on down this Saturday, December 16th, in the hours of 1 and 3. Make sure you line up out here. We have a whole crazy session. And last time we had it all the way down there to the jailhouse.
Oh,
it was
wow.
crazy, right?
Wow.
So we just trying to make sure we control the flow this time, where everybody gets something, and we just try to kind of lift the burden of the holiday season. So we just showing our love. We do got a raffle 5 bikes right in the building, so make sure you come and get a raffle tickets. Brother Robert, share his raffle ticket. Make sure you get that drawn. But yeah, man, we want to make sure that we always talk about community impact. Not only are we advocating, fighting on the front line, writing letters, showing up at people, holding accountability, all these things, man, we are always with that. I love what the conversation had just kind of stewed about how we each other, how we work out our differences, right? Gain understanding. Because lot of times we don't even know these situations and know how this stuff play out until we get clarity on the situation, right? We hear it, right? And then we can understand it. Okay, well, we understand why those situations played out that way. But that's what it is, man. In 2024, let's be better folks. Let's operate at city council how they operating at the county, where they talking about things that they can I would be able to vote on those three different resolutions. So it's something different, right? And these people in these wars, right? The community. Listen, it is our duty, our job to be there, right? Make sure you hold your elected official accountable. Make sure that you come to the meeting. If you're unsatisfied with something, call them. You got to work. They don't answer the phone. Supposed to hear you, I hear you. Right? That's what you get. So make sure that we do our part too, and let's not put it all up on them to get up there and war it out. They call on us, right, to be in the meeting or to raise awareness to a situation, right? Or just be there and be present. Make sure that we do that as people. At the end of the day, it's gonna take all of it. Everybody in this community is gonna take all of it. The elders to the young people. I know as young people don't want to be engaged in politics, and it's your life. You want to be understanding. You want to know these roles and responsibilities. That was kind of laid out to today. So, man, we just appreciate everybody tuning in. Be sure to like, share, subscribe to Fli-City Blackout. Be sure to come on out to Black Lives Matter Holiday Drive. Be sure to support Black Lives Matter. Like, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about getting folks on board. We're talking about working in the community that's majority Black. We're talking about this, right? You need to stand up for it. Don't be bamboozled by all the rhetoric. Everybody can be saying about nonsense unless you where they're coming from, what they're doing, and the impact being made. Let's be clear. Big shout out to the nation, right? You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to the folks on the ground, the boots on the ground, the real ground work, man. Everybody, the Urban Peace Corps, peacekeepers, right? You know what I mean? It's a lot of folks that's working. I love it. Like, man, so fragmented. Everybody's working in their own sectors, doing their thing. But at the end of the day, when we organize, we come together, right? We got all these different groups. We talk about WACPA, WACCA, CB. I'm thinking all these names. NAACP, Nation, Black Lives. We got the new Black Panthers here in the city. You know, you got all these different fragments. Black Democratic Caucus, right? You got all these different groups, man. Let's learn how we can benefit from each other. I know we got different missions, but let's learn that when we organize and we work as our residents in the community, we can do some powerful things. And I saw it. I saw it work. I saw it work. Right? I'm energized by that. One point we were just all together. That was a beautiful thing. And so I'm just itching to get back to it. So let's keep that awareness. Man, I appreciate y'all brothers coming in and having this solid conversation, man.
Appreciate it.
And I learned a lot too, man. The story is very powerful, bro. And I love to hear that, right? It's motivating, right? And so we want to continue to keep up. And different people that's coming up, making a way.
Each other, not that's what you do. Those that are online, community takes all of us.
Come on now. Yeah. Come on. We all we got. So we're going to lock this thing on now, man. We like to do a blackout. Man. That's a Wakanda forever. We on out of here, man. Y'all stay blessed.
See y'all. Salute.
We'll see y'all Saturday. Yeah, that was good.